The kingdom was renowned for its impenetrable walls and its fearless soldiers standing as a beacon. It remained a sanctuary of safety in a world that was otherwise turbulent and deeply uncertain. For generations, the fortress remained unconquered, standing tall against the relentless tides of history and war. This success was not because of its physical strength alone, but the silent, diligent work. The gatekeeper held the singular, vital responsibility of inspecting every single traveler, merchant, and weary stranger. He stood at the threshold, ensuring that only peace was welcomed while danger was firmly barred. The gatekeeper understood a profound truth that others often overlooked in their pursuit of daily life. No external force could ever topple the kingdom unless someone from within allowed the enemy inside. This realization guided his every action, turning the massive iron gates into a fortress of intent. For years, this unwavering vigilance preserved the prosperity of the people who lived within the walls. It fostered a culture of security where the citizens thrived in the shadow of the gates. They walked the streets without fear, knowing their guardian was watching over the boundary of safety. It was a golden age defined by the gatekeeper's commitment to his sacred and divine assignment. He stood at his post from dawn until dusk, never wavering in his duty to protect. His eyes scanned the horizon, searching for any sign of malice that might threaten the peace. The people lived their lives in harmony, unaware of the silent battles fought at the gate. Every merchant who approached was scrutinized with a keen eye that could detect even hidden deceit. Every stranger was questioned until the gatekeeper was satisfied that their intentions were purely honorable ones. The iron gates remained locked against the darkness that lurked in the wild lands beyond them. The kingdom's true strength lay in the wisdom of its watchmen, who guarded the very soul. He knew that a single moment of negligence could undo the work of many long years. Thus, he remained alert, a statue of duty carved from the bedrock of his own resolve. The walls were thick, but the gatekeeper was the true barrier against the encroaching outside world. He watched the seasons change, yet his focus never faltered, remaining as sharp as a blade. His presence was the heartbeat of the kingdom, a steady rhythm that kept the chaos away. Children played in the courtyards, their laughter echoing against the stones of the great, silent fortress. They grew up in a world where safety was assumed, a gift provided by the gatekeeper's hand. The merchants brought goods from distant lands, their wares inspected and approved by the watchful guardian. Nothing entered that had not been thoroughly vetted, ensuring the purity of the kingdom's internal life. The gatekeeper was a silent sentinel, a shadow that moved with purpose across the iron threshold. He understood that the mind of the kingdom was fragile, requiring constant care and careful protection. His life was a testament to the power of discipline, a beacon for all who watched. The sun rose and set, marking the passage of time in a land of enduring quiet. Each day was a mirror of the last, a cycle of peace maintained by his vigilance. The kingdom stood as a testament to the idea that safety is a choice we make. It was a choice made every morning by the man who stood at the iron gate. He did not seek glory or fame, only the preservation of the peace he was protecting. His reward was the sight of a thriving city, a place where life could flourish freely. He was the silent hero of a story that few truly understood, yet all benefited from. The walls were high, but his spirit was higher, reaching toward the ideals of true safety. He watched the horizon, his gaze steady and unyielding against the shifting winds of the world. The kingdom was a jewel, and he was the jeweler who kept it polished and safe. No enemy could breach the gates, for he was always there, standing firm and ever ready. The people slept soundly, their dreams protected by the man who never truly closed his eyes. He was the guardian of the threshold, the keeper of the peace, the master of entry. His life was dedicated to the service of others, a noble pursuit that defined his existence. The iron gates were a symbol of his resolve, heavy and immovable against the outside world. He was the gatekeeper, and his watch was the foundation upon which the kingdom was built. The world outside was chaotic, but inside there was only order, peace, and quiet, steady growth. He stood as a sentinel, a protector of the light that burned within the city walls. His duty was his life, and his life was the shield for all the people inside. He remained at his post, a silent witness to the prosperity that his vigilance had secured. The kingdom thrived because he cared enough to watch, to question, and to stand firm daily. He was the gatekeeper, and his wisdom was the secret to the kingdom's long, golden age. Every traveler was a test, and every test was a victory for the safety of all. He stood tall, a monument to the power of a single, focused mind at the gate. The kingdom was safe, and the gatekeeper was the reason for that enduring, peaceful, quiet state. His work was the silent foundation of a world that knew nothing of the dangers outside. He was the guardian of the threshold, the man who held the keys to the kingdom. And so, the Golden Age continued, sustained by the unwavering commitment of the kingdom's wise watchmen. As the Golden Age endured, the comfort of lasting peace slowly bred a dangerous, creeping complacency. The gatekeeper began to lower his standards, rationalizing that one small distraction could not possibly harm. He convinced himself that a single minor compromise would not threaten the integrity of the realm. Consequently, he stopped examining the true nature of what entered through the massive iron gates daily. Subtle influences like pride, envy, and bitterness began to slip through the gates entirely unnoticed now. These invisible invaders did not carry sharp swords or announce their arrival with loud battle cries. Instead, they moved like shadows, slowly eroding the foundation of the kingdom from deep within itself. The people began to turn against one another, fueled by the whispers of these unseen, dark guests. Citizens started blaming their circumstances for the growing discord that tainted their once vibrant, peaceful lives. This tragic narrative serves as a mirror for the human mind, which acts as the kingdom. Our focused attention functions as the gate, determining what is allowed to enter our inner world. By failing to guard what we watch, hear, and dwell upon, we invite our own destruction. We unknowingly welcome the seeds of bitterness that eventually bloom into thorns within our own hearts. The fall of the kingdom teaches us that true stewardship requires constant and unwavering mental vigilance. Our character is ultimately shaped by the thoughts we permit to rule our lives every day. If we leave the gate unguarded, we forfeit the peace that we once worked so hard. The gatekeeper watched as the iron gates rusted, his eyes clouded by the fog of apathy. He no longer questioned the motives of those who approached, assuming all visitors were harmless souls. Pride entered first, cloaked in the fine robes of a merchant, carrying gifts of hollow praise. Envy followed closely behind, whispering tales of what others possessed that the citizens lacked so dearly. Bitterness arrived last, wearing the mask of a weary traveler seeking shelter from the cold wind. The gatekeeper opened the heavy doors wide, oblivious to the poison leaking into his sacred charge. Within the city walls, the air grew heavy with the weight of unspoken, growing, dark resentments. Neighbors who once shared bread now looked upon each other with suspicion and cold, hard eyes. The once fearless soldiers found their blades dulling, their spirits dampened by the pervasive, internal rot. No external army needed to strike, for the kingdom was already fracturing under its own weight. The gatekeeper sat upon his stool, watching the decay unfold while believing he was still safe. He mistook the silence of the city for the peace he had protected for so long. Yet, the silence was not peace. It was the quiet breath of a dying, broken society. Every thought we entertain is a traveler at the gate, demanding entry into our private domain. We must decide which thoughts are worthy of dwelling within the sanctuary of our own minds. To allow negativity to reside is to invite the slow erosion of our own moral strength. The kingdom's collapse is a warning to every soul that guards the threshold of their consciousness. We are the masters of our gates, responsible for the quality of the life we cultivate. If we neglect this duty, we become prisoners of the very influences we failed to stop. True wisdom lies in the discernment of what is allowed to cross the threshold of thought. The gatekeeper's failure serves as a reminder that vigilance is the price of our inner freedom. We must remain alert, for the enemy does not always arrive with the sound of drums. Often, the most dangerous invaders are those that arrive quietly, disguised as harmless, passing thoughts. The kingdom is not just a place of stone, it is the landscape of our souls. Guard it with care, for what you allow in today determines who you become tomorrow. The iron gates remain, but they are only as strong as the one who holds them. Let your mind be a fortress of light, impenetrable to the shadows of pride and envy. The gatekeeper eventually realized his mistake, but the damage had already taken deep, firm root. He looked out at the horizon, seeing the consequences of his long, deep, and tragic slumber. The prosperity of the past was now a distant memory, replaced by the cold, harsh reality. He stood at the threshold, knowing he could not undo the past, but he could change. He resolved to watch with renewed intensity. Though the gates were already filled with dark, the lesson was learned at a great cost, a price paid by the entire kingdom. May we learn from his error before our own gates are breached by the same. The mind is a precious kingdom, deserving of the most diligent and careful watchman possible. Keep your focus sharp, your heart guarded, and your thoughts pure against the coming night. The gatekeeper finally understood that his assignment was never finished, not even for one moment. Peace is a fragile thing, easily lost when we stop paying attention to the small. He stood tall once more, ready to face whatever approached the gates with clear eyes. The kingdom might be broken, but the gatekeeper was finally awake to his vital duty. He would hold the line, ensuring that no more shadows could enter his sacred domain. His vigilance was the only way to begin the long process of healing the land. The story of the kingdom ends, but the lesson continues for all who read it. Guard your mind, for it is the only kingdom you will ever truly possess forever.